Welcome back. Let's talk about Aurionpro. The company reported their numbers yesterday. It's a good set of numbers. The company's revenue growth stands at 6% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. On a year-on-year basis, revenue growth stands at 32%. Margins too have been maintained at 21.2%. To talk about the way forward, we have with us Ashish Rai, CEO at Aurionpro Solutions. Ashish, thank you very much for joining in. Good start to the year. Are you maintaining your full-year guidance? And just for our viewers, it was at 30 to 35% top-line growth, EBITDA between 20-22%, and PAT margins at 15 to 16%. Are you maintaining the full-year guidance?
Yes. Yeah. So thank you. First of all, good morning, and thanks for having us. Yes. So Q1, I think pretty good start. We feel good about the full-year guidance of 30 to 35. The order book is in a good place. Pipeline is in a good place. Team is executing very, very well against the opportunities we see. Yeah. So we will stick to the guidance.
Okay. Is there a possibility that you might exceed the 35% revenue growth? Given the visibility, or are you going to be at the lower end? And is your business geared up for this 30 to 35% over the longer term? Is this something we can expect for 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, so look, I think we've been growing at 30 to 35% pretty much for the last 4 years since we pivoted into our current journey of building out a global products and platforms player, right, which is focused on a few segments, banking, payments, transit, etc. We see the demand runway as a pretty long runway going out the next 6, 8, 10 years in each of those spaces, because there's something fundamentally transformative happening in the space. So, right, we feel very good about the demand runway. The opportunity size is really large for each of these segments. The reason we stick to 30 to 35% for the last 4 years, and we hope to do for the next 4 as we go into 2030, is essentially to calibrate the delivery capacity to capitalize on the demand, right? So I think will we have a little bit of upside? It's possible that you can't really fine-tune to the last percentage point, but the last 4 years, so last year as well, we grew 35%, right? So I think we feel good about staying in that band. We're not going to change our guidance at the moment. I think if we go into Q3 and it's looking like it will change, we'll guide at that point. But we feel very good about the demand runway for each of the major lines that we have.
Got it. So you're sticking to that revenue target of 30 to 35% growth. Mr. Rai, I believe you've also got final approvals to set up a payment aggregator business, right? From the Reserve Bank of India. So tell us a little more about it. And you would have done some math in terms of the revenue implication, the profitability of a business like this. What are you thinking? Just take us through, also the numerical implications and the strategy behind setting up a payment aggregator business.
Yeah, so thanks for the question, right? So yes, we did receive the final authorization for RBI in Q1. I think it's a great endorsement of both the technical capabilities that we built up over time, as well as the process framework and the operational capabilities overall. The goal is to really create a next generation of a specialized next generation payments player who's highly specialized. That's why we feel good about our ability to keep margins in the space as well. The goal is to ride on spaces where we are already strong in. So Aurionpro's approach typically is to really, when we are in a space, try and be an end-to-end player across the value chain. For example, transit payments, we are very prominent in. We are probably the most integrated end-to-end offering stack in the transit payment space, from hardware to software, AFC, etc. This was a gap in our portfolio. This now allows us to really have the full spectrum end-to-end play on the transit side.
It's going to be sir, just to understand, Mr. Rai, is this going to be sort of a B2C offering? And isn't that already a very crowded space? And what about sort of break-even targets? How much will you spend on setting up this business? And what are your profitability and margin expectations from it?
Yeah, so look, we're not that kicked about the B2C space. We think it is a fairly cluttered space, right? So what we are looking at is right on areas where Aurionpro is strong. So for example, in transit, for us, it is a margin expansion play because we already own the end-to-end contracts. In the B2B space, where we have, for example, ROBs like the SME SaaS offering, there is a space for us to expand our margins and revenue as well by adding payments functionality to it. So the goal for Aurionpro always is to play a combination of software together with a payments capability or something else, right? So we don't like vanilla plays, we like non-linear plays, and payments capability allows us to really bring that next generation of specialized offerings in the market. The plain vanilla B2C space, I think you're right. I think it's cluttered and it's hard to really get margins in that space.
All right, we'll leave it there, Mr. Rai, for now. It's a shorter call today, but we look forward to a longer discussion next time you're with us. Thank you for joining in. That's Orient Pro. By the way, look at that number, 1% volume growth, and that explains that underperformance or the fact that the results were basically below expectations for Nestle.